Imagine if the reality you're living right now isn't actually this solid, unchangeable thing, but, just an echo.
Right.
What if you could literally rewrite your life, not by, working yourself to the bone, but simply by changing the invisible frequency of your thoughts?
I mean, it sounds completely like science fiction when you phrase it that way.
Oh, for sure. It sounds crazy.
It does. But if we actually look at the foundational premise of Nikola Tesla's worldview, we find this wild attempt to bridge pure, hard physics with what, many would just classify as mysticism.
Right. He has that super famous quote, right?
Yeah, exactly. He said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And the sources we're digging into today suggest he meant that quite literally.
And we're jumping straight into the deep end of those sources today. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're looking at a set of documents and historical analyses that revolve around Tesla's largely misunderstood philosophy of energy.
It's a huge topic.
It really is. The overarching theme here is that the universe is essentially this massive, highly sensitive electrical system. And every single human being, including you, listening right now, is a living, breathing circuit completely wired into it.
Wired right into the mainframe, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But what really caught my attention in this material is that this isn't just, abstract theoretical physics.
No, not at all.
The sources actually outline a very specific, actionable 7-day protocol. It was designed by Tesla to leverage this system. It's a literal blueprint to hack your reality.
And we should point out the creators of these concepts designed them specifically to spread.
Yes.
They're meant to act as a viral mechanism for elevating the collective frequency.
So as we unpack this today, keep in mind that the end goal is for you to actually test this protocol yourself. Tonight, ideally.
Right. The transition from theory to application is really where Tesla's perspective becomes radical.
How so?
Well, he didn't view human consciousness as just some philosophical abstraction, right? Or just a byproduct of brain chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
According to his writings, he viewed it as a divine technology. The human brain wasn't seen merely as an organ processing internal daydreams.
It was like a piece of hardware.
Exactly. It was theorized to be a powerful transmitter and receiver of literal frequencies.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to push back on that right away, or at least, ask for some clarification. Because a lot of our listeners are already well-versed in the basics of quantum physics.
Sure.
We know that, 99.999% of an atom is empty space.
That's right.
And we know that what we perceive as a solid table or a concrete building is just vibrating energy fields repelling each other. That's just, quantum field theory 101.
Basic stuff, yeah.
But it's a massive leap to go from matter is mostly empty space to my specific thoughts about paying my rent are piercing space-time.
It's a big leap.
Right. So what is the proposed mechanism there? How does a thought leave the skull?
So, the mechanism, as framed by Tesla and the researchers analyzing his work, relies on the concept of resonance within that supposedly empty space.
Okay.
Quantum physics tells us that the vacuum of space isn't actually empty. It's this boiling soup of potential energy, often referred to as the quantum vacuum.
Or what Tesla called the ether.
Right, exactly, the ether. When Tesla spoke of thoughts piercing space-time, he was operating on the idea that an electrical impulse in the brain creates a corresponding wave in this ether.
So it's like dropping a pebble in a pond.
Yes. Or think of a tuning fork. If you strike a tuning fork in a room, it will cause another tuning fork of the exact same pitch to vibrate across the room.
Oh, wow. Without even touching it.
Without touching it. The electrical frequency of a thought supposedly seeks out and resonates with matching frequencies in the environment.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because it's like we are living inside an ocean of invisible radio waves.
We basically are.
But we've been tricked into thinking it's all solid concrete. And every feeling or, repetitive thought is a distinct vibration emitting into this field.
That's the core idea. And the sources use a very specific term for how the universe responds to this constant broadcasting.
Right, they call it a giant electrical mirror.
Yes. Well, wait, let me rephrase that. The term electrical mirror is highly intentional in these texts.
Why a mirror specifically?
Because a mirror doesn't judge, it doesn't possess morality, and it definitely doesn't punish. It simply reflects the light or the frequency directed at it.
I have to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
Because this is usually where these philosophies hit a massive wall for me. If the universe simply reflects whatever frequency we are transmitting,
right,
that implies there is no such thing as bad luck. It implies that every chaotic circumstance, every failure is just an energetic mismatch.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't this border on victim blaming? I mean, if someone gets sick or someone is born into extreme poverty, are these sources arguing that they just vibrated at a sick or poor frequency?
That is the most common and honestly the most important critique of this worldview.
I mean, it has to be, right?
Absolutely. And the texts do address this, though, perhaps not in a way that satisfies everyone.
What do they say?
The sources argue that Tesla's electrical mirror is entirely neutral. It isn't about assigning moral blame. It's purely about the mechanics of cause and effect on a vibrational level.
So it's just math to the universe.
Exactly. The text suggests that many of these frequencies are actually inherited or absorbed unconsciously from our environments, our societies, in our early childhoods.
Oh, I see. Long before we actually have conscious control over them.
Right, so it's less about blaming the individual for, causing a negative event and more about identifying the dominant subconscious frequency that is currently running the circuit.
So that it can be actively reprogrammed. Okay, so the universe isn't repeating negative situations to punish you. It's repeating them to show you what your subconscious is currently broadcasting.
It's a feedback loop.
So if you, as a listener, keep running into the same toxic relationships or hitting the exact same financial walls over and over, the universe is essentially holding up a diagnostic monitor.
Yes. It's saying, here is the frequency you are currently locked into.
That is the core argument then. The universe responds to the constant vibration, not the occasional conscious wish.
Right, which is why just wishing for $1 million doesn't work.
Which brings us to a massive contradiction.
Okay.
If we are these walking antennas with all this immense creative power to literally bend reality, why are so many people completely stuck?
That's the $1 million question.
Right. If I'm broadcasting all the time and I have this power, why do I so often manifest the things I absolutely do not want?
The sources explain this through a concept Tesla referred to as mental noise.
Mental noise.
Yeah, and it acts as a literal short circuit. Think about the human mind as a factory producing, millions of electrical impulses every single second.
Okay, I'm with you.
If the dominant emotions driving those impulses are fear, doubt, or anxiety, you are generating incredibly dense, chaotic wave patterns.
Like static on a radio dial.
Oh, even more destructive than static. In an actual electrical circuit, a short circuit occurs when current travels along an unintended path with almost no resistance.
Which usually fries the system, right?
Exactly. It causes damage or stops the machine from working entirely. The texts argue that fear acts as this exact type of short circuit in the human electromagnetic system.
It interrupts the flow.
It interrupts the natural, coherent flow of energy, so you are trying to transmit a clear signal of what you desire, but the underlying fear of not getting it creates immense interference.
Oh, wow.
The result is confusion, the repetition of those negative patterns, and that pervasive feeling of helplessness. The mind literally becomes a machine working against itself.
We are essentially jamming our own signals.
We are.
We're trying to tune into this beautiful symphony, but we have a blender running right next to our ear.
That's a great way to put it.
And what's fascinating is that the sources don't just rely on, early 1900s theory to explain this. They bring in modern science.
Yes. Very modern.
Specifically from the HeartMath Institute in California to actually map the biology of this short circuit.
The HeartMath data is incredible. It provides a crucial modern lens for Tesla's theories. For a long time, Western science has been hyper-focused on the brain as the absolute sole command center of the body.
Right, the brain does everything.
But researchers at HeartMath started utilizing squid magnetometers.
Squid magnetometers?
Yeah, they are these highly sensitive instruments used to measure incredibly subtle magnetic fields. And they discovered something that fundamentally shifts that whole brain-centric paradigm.
Right, the numbers here are just staggering. The listeners probably know the brain has an electrical field. But the sources point out that the human heart generates an electrical field that is roughly 100 times stronger than the brain's.
100 times.
And the magnetic field of the heart. They say it's up to 5,000 times stronger than the brain's magnetic field.
It's unbelievable. And those measurements completely recontextualize our understanding of human energy.
Because it changes the hierarchy.
Exactly. If reality responds to electromagnetic frequencies, and your heart is generating a magnetic field 5,000 times stronger than your brain, you cannot logic your way into a new reality.
Because the brain is basically a tiny battery compared to the heart.
Right. The heart is the actual powerhouse. It is the main generator. And the HeartMath Institute has shown that this field isn't static. It shifts its shape and its coherence based entirely on our emotional state.
So when we are stuck in that short circuit of fear or anger we talked about, what does that actually look like on their measuring devices?
It looks like a mess. It's an erratic, jagged, chaotic sine wave. The heart rhythm becomes completely desynchronized.
And when we aren't in fear,
When a person intentionally shifts their emotional state to genuine appreciation, love, or gratitude, the squid magnetometers measure a highly ordered, smooth, harmonious wave pattern.
and they have a name for this, right?
Yeah, the researchers call this state psychophysiological coherence.
Psychophysiological coherence. And Tesla was talking about this exact state decades before anyone had a squid magnetometer to measure it.
He absolutely was.
The sources refer to his concept as the point of coherence, or the closed loop.
Right. Tesla's point of coherence is described as the exact mathematical moment when the mind and the heart vibrate at the identical rhythm.
So the electrical and the magnetic finally align.
Yes. The hypothesis here is that when your thoughts, which act as the directional electrical impulse, and your emotions, which act as the magnetic amplifier, finally sync up, reality ceases to be chaotic.
And act like a perfectly tuned musical instrument.
Exactly. Tesla reportedly wrote that when the heart and mind tremble to the same rhythm, the ether obeys.
The ether obeys. That is a wild sentence. It implies the fabric of space itself yields to a coherent electromagnetic field.
The implication is that a coherent field doesn't just stay trapped inside the physical body. It actually organizes the chaotic potential energy in the space around the body.
So this is when things start getting weird.
Shit weird, yeah. Coincidences begin to happen. Synchronicity accelerates. What previously seemed statistically impossible suddenly becomes probable.
But the texts emphasize that reaching this state isn't just magic. It requires mastering the mechanics of repetition.
Which most people approach completely backwards, honestly.
So let's break down the math of repetition as outlined in the sources, because this is the foundation of the 7-day protocol we are building toward.
It is the core of it.
According to the text, a single repetition is just a passing thought. It's a spark that immediately dies out.
Right.
But 100 repetitions of that thought begin to form a belief. And 1,000 repetitions forge an identity.
And that's the key word, identity.
Right. And the claim made here is that once the subconscious mind accepts an identity, the electrical mirror of the universe has absolutely no choice but to reflect it.
Because an identity in this framework is a stabilized frequency. It's not something you have to actively think about anymore.
It just runs in the background.
Exactly, like an operating system on your computer. If someone wakes up every day and repeats the internal narrative, I am always struggling, the subconscious eventually just adopts struggle as the core identity.
And because the universe reflects the dominant stabilized frequency,
It will continually arrange circumstances, people, and events to confirm that identity. The mirror must show you what you are holding up to it. It has no choice.
but there is a massive caveat in the sources regarding this repetition. And this is where I think 99% of people fail when they try affirmations or, vision boards.
Oh, absolutely.
The text explicitly states that repetition without emotion is completely dead.
Tesla's analogy here, at least as interpreted by the authors of the source, is brilliant. He says repeating words without emotion is akin to flipping a light switch on a lamp that isn't plugged into the wall.
You can flip it all day long.
You can flip the switch 10,000 times, but without the electrical current, there will be no light. The linguistic structure of the words has zero inherent power.
Because it's just mouth noises.
Right. The emotional field, which remember we just established, is driven by the heart's massive magnetic output, is what dictates the reach and power of the wave.
So let me make sure I've got this. If someone is repeating, I am successful, I am wealthy 100 times a day, but deep down in their chest, they feel a tight, terrifying knot of anxiety about going bankrupt.
Yeah.
They are essentially stepping on the gas pedal and the emergency brake at the exact same time.
That is exactly what they are doing. The universe doesn't process the logic of the English language. It processes the energetic signature.
The vibration.
Yes. In your scenario, the brain is sending a really weak electrical impulse of success, but the heart is broadcasting a massive 5,000 times stronger magnetic wave of terror.
And the terror wins.
The universe always obeys the dominant vibration. The emotion always overrides the intellect.
And it goes even deeper than that, which blew my mind when reading this. Because the universe apparently doesn't understand the concept of negation.
This is a subtle but critical point in the text.
Yeah, like if I walk around hyper-focused on saying, I don't want to suffer or I don't want to be broke, what is actually being transmitted there?
You are transmitting the frequency of suffering and the frequency of lack.
Even though I said don't.
Even though you said don't, the texts argue that the ether is entirely neutral. It does not process linguistic negations like don't or not. It only responds to the energetic focus.
So the focus is the anchor.
Exactly. If your attention is consumed by the idea of not suffering, your system is actually vibrating at the frequency of suffering in order to focus on it.
Because you have to picture the suffering to reject it.
Energy flows where attention goes. The mirror simply amplifies whatever you are vividly focused on, regardless of whether your intellectual intent is to invite it in or to push it away.
This isn't just esoteric theory either. The sources tie this directly into hard neurobiology.
Neuroplasticity.
Right. We are talking about physically reshaping the brain. When you repeat a coherent thought paired with a strong, elevated emotion, you actually alter the brain's physical structure. Neurons that fire together wire together, as Hebbian theory states.
The biological cascade of this is fascinating. When you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, like, say, gratitude, you don't just change your brain wiring, you alter your entire biochemistry.
How so?
You stimulate the vagus nerve, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system. You release dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin.
The feel-good chemicals.
Exactly. And these chemicals physically expand the heart's magnetic aura, they lower your resting heart rate, and they literally promote cellular repair.
Wow. While on the flip side, repeating fearful thoughts floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline.
Which is toxic in high, prolonged doses.
Right, it breaks down the immune system and actually shrinks the electromagnetic field, putting you into a state of survival and contraction.
The vibration is applied biology. The human body is a highly sophisticated energy machine, but the conscious mind, through chronic stress and that linguistic negation we talked about, constantly sabotages its native, coherent state.
Which brings us to the core actionable piece of this deep dive.
The protocol.
Yes. Tesla didn't just write abstractly about all of this. He supposedly utilized a specific ritual to bypass this self-sabotage and force the body and mind into a state of deep magnetic coherence.
It's highly systematic.
This is Tesla's 7-day vibrational ritual. And for everyone listening, this is the practical blueprint. The sources present this as a challenge to literally hack your own operating system.
The authors really emphasize that just reading or listening to this knowledge is insufficient.
Right, you have to do it.
Tesla reportedly critiqued humanity by observing that we are surrounded by an ocean of limitless energy, yet our connection to it is incredibly unstable because we simply refuse to apply what we know.
So the purpose of this 7-day protocol is to forcefully stabilize that connection.
Yes, to lock it in.
Okay, let's lay out the precise parameters of this ritual for the listeners. Step 1. You must choose a clear, positive affirmation. And based on what we just discussed about negation, this means no negative words.
None at all.
You don't say, I will not be sick. You say, I'm a source of vibrant health. You focus entirely on the presence of the desired state, not the absence of the undesired state.
The framing is so critical here, it must be in the present tense.
The present tense.
Because if you say, I will be, you project the frequency into an always distant future. The ether says, okay, you will be eventually.
Ah, so it never actually arrives.
Right, I am, anchors it in the current electromagnetic field, and the ritual mandates that this must be done for 7 consecutive nights.
And there's a specific environment required too, right?
Yeah. Yes, in an environment that is completely dark and completely quiet.
I want to dig into that environment requirement. Why absolute darkness? Does the lack of photons actually alter how the brain transmits these frequencies?
It does. From a neurobiological standpoint, light engages the conscious analytical mind. It keeps the brain's default mode network highly active and tethers your awareness to the physical environment around you.
Because you're looking at your laundry, your phone, whatever.
Exactly. When you eliminate all visual stimuli, the pineal gland alters its production of melatonin, and the brainwave state begins to naturally shift.
It slows down.
Yeah, it shifts from the rapid waking beta state down into alpha and eventually theta states. Darkness removes the external interference, allowing the internal signal to be amplified.
You are essentially turning off all the noisy machinery on the factory floor so you can finally hear a whisper.
That's a perfect analogy.
Okay, so you are in total darkness, in absolute silence, holding a positive present tense phrase. The next step is the repetition itself. The protocol requires you to repeat this phrase out loud exactly 100 times, with total emotional conviction.
Out loud is key.
Right, you have to physically feel the reality of the phrase in your body as you say it. But I have to ask about the math here. Why 100? Is it just a nice round number, or is there a specific mechanical reason for that threshold?
The sources suggest 100 is not arbitrary at all. It represents a precise threshold of cognitive exhaustion.
Cognitive exhaustion.
Yes. When you first state an affirmation like, I am completely abundant, your highly analytical prefrontal cortex immediately rejects it.
Oh, for sure. It's like, no, you aren't. Check your bank account.
Exactly. Your inner critic reviews your current reality and vigorously argues with the statement. But the conscious mind has very limited stamina.
It gets tired.
By forcing it to repeat the phrase 100 times with intense emotional effort, you induce a state of transient hyperfrontality.
Transient hypofrontality.
Yeah. The logical, resistant part of the brain literally tires out. It gives up trying to fight the contradiction and simply hands the steering wheel over to the subconscious mind.
So you enter a self-induced creative trance where the new frequency can finally be written to the hard drive.
You essentially bore the inner critic into submission.
I love that. Bore the critic to sleep. And why 7 days? If I exhaust my brain on night 1, why do I have to do it for a full week?
The sources point to the mathematical cycles inherent in the universe, which Tesla observed constantly. We see the number 7 repeatedly in nature's fundamental structures.
Like what?
Well, the 7 whole notes in a musical octave, the 7 colors of the visible light spectrum, the 7 distinct layers of electron shells in an atom.
Oh, wow.
Furthermore, biological cycles, including certain cellular renewal processes and circadian rhythms, operate on 7-day cycles.
So it's baked into our biology.
The argument is that performing this ritual for 7 consecutive days aligns with a natural octave of manifestation. It ensures the vibration is permanently anchored into the physical and mental field, rather than just being a temporary, spike in the current.
Okay, but then we reach the final step of the nightly ritual. And the texts make it very clear that this is where the entire process usually falls apart for people.
It is the hardest part.
After you finish that 100th repetition with maximum emotional intensity, you have to sit in total silence, and you have to completely surrender it. You have to let it go.
This is the paradox of intention.
Because it feels like you should keep focusing on it, right?
Right, but surrender is often misunderstood as giving up. In this electromagnetic framework, surrender is actually the highest possible frequency of trust.
Let's unpack that.
Well, if you issue a command to the electrical mirror, and then immediately step out of the room and start agonizing over how it will manifest or when it will arrive, what are you actually doing?
I am broadcasting a brand new frequency, and that frequency is doubt.
Exactly. The mechanics of doubt act as a destructive interference wave. Imagine dropping a pebble into a perfectly still pond to create a beautiful, expanding ripple.
That ripple is your 100 repetitions.
Yes. But worrying about the result is like aggressively splashing your hands in the water immediately afterward.
You just destroy the pattern.
The new chaotic waves of anxiety completely cancel out the original coherent ripple. In quantum mechanics, observing a system with anxiety forces the wave function to collapse into a predictable, usually negative state.
So the silence is mandatory.
The silence and surrender after the ritual give the ether the undisturbed space it actually needs to organize the matter.
The silence following the intention. That is incredibly profound, and it's fascinating that this entire protocol relies on the physical act of speaking out loud. The sources indicate that Tesla viewed the human voice not just as a tool for communication, but as a spiritual technology.
Yes, the voice is the bridge between the internal electrical impulse and the external physical world.
Because it creates sound waves.
Exactly. Every spoken word is a literal acoustic wave, and every acoustic wave compresses and expands the physical air molecules around you. The authors suggest that when you speak, you are leaving a permanent energetic architecture in the space you occupy.
This brings us to a really tangible area of physics mentioned in the texts: cymatics.
Cymatics is mind-blowing.
For listeners who haven't encountered this, it is the study of visible sound. We aren't just using metaphors when we say sound is a physical architect.
No, the experiments in cymatics, pioneered by researchers like Ernst Chladni and later Hans Jenny, provide a stunning visual representation of this.
Can you describe one of the experiments?
Sure. If you take a metal plate, cover it with a fine layer of sand, and vibrate the plate using specific sound frequencies, the sand doesn't just bounce around randomly.
Right, the sand instantly organizes itself. But how exactly does a sound wave force chaotic sand into a perfect, geometric mandala.
It's a matter of resonant frequencies and what we call nodal lines. When the plate vibrates, certain areas of the metal move vigorously, while other lines on the plate, the nodal lines, remain completely still.
Okay.
Sand is violently shaken off the vibrating areas and naturally gathers on the still lines. Depending on the exact frequency played, these lines form incredibly complex, perfectly symmetrical geometric patterns.
And if you change the pitch?
Change the frequency, and the sand instantly shifts into a completely new, mathematically perfect shape.
So the sound is literally dictating the physical structure of matter.
Absolutely.
And the sources argue that Tesla believed the exact same mechanism applies to our spoken words and thoughts within the invisible structure of the quantum field.
The hypothesis is that the ether acts much like that metal plate, and our reality, the events, the people, the circumstances of our lives, acts like the sand.
Wow. So if you are constantly vocalizing complaints, anger, and fear,
You are playing a chaotic frequency that scrambles the sand of your life into utter disorder.
but if you use your voice intentionally with coherent emotion,
Then you are vibrating the plate of space-time in a way that forces the physical matter of your life to arrange itself into harmony.
that is a brilliant analogy. And this idea of mathematical harmony ties directly into the most famous, perhaps most mysterious concept associated with Tesla, the 369 code.
Ah, yes. The infamous code.
We've all seen the quote attributed to him, "If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe."
It's on a million t-shirts.
It is. But it often gets treated like magic numerology on the internet. How did the sources actually decode this in relation to manifestation?
The texts strip away the mysticism and approach it through the lens of vortex mathematics and vibrational phases. The numbers 3, 6, and 9 are viewed not as lucky numbers, but as the vibrational trinity that governs the geometry of creation.
A three-step process.
Yes, a sequential process of translating invisible energy into visible matter. The number 3 represents the genesis, the vibration of the thought.
The thought is the 3.
It is the initial electrical impulse, the intention, the blueprint. Then, the number 6 represents the amplification, the vibration of the emotion.
Okay, so thought, then emotion.
Right. In vortex math, doubling numbers reveals a pattern that never includes 3, 6, or 9, suggesting these numbers exist in a higher dimensional space that governs our physical world. 6 is the magnetic current, the heart's energy that gives the thought its gravitational pull.
And then we reach 9.
The number 9 represents completion, the vibration of manifestation. In esoteric mathematics, 9 is the symbol of the whole. I mean, if you add all digits from 1 to 8, they eventually sum to 36, and 3 plus 6 equals 9.
Everything leads to 9.
It represents the physical reality that is born when the thought, the 3, and the emotion, the 6, are perfectly locked into coherence.
So 369 isn't a magic spell you chant, it's a map.
It's an instruction manual.
Thought, emotion, manifestation. When those three elements align without the interference of doubt, you move from being a passive observer reacting to the world to an active author writing it.
Beautifully said.
But the texts suggest Tesla envisioned this going far beyond just, individual wealth or health. He theorized about a collective field.
Tesla's ultimate vision was macro, not micro. If one human brain and heart can create a localized, coherent field, the logical extrapolation is that millions of humans operating in coherence could generate a field strong enough to alter planetary conditions.
And here's where the material gets incredibly compelling, for me at least, because the sources provide real-world historical data attempting to prove this collective field in action.
Yes, they do.
Let's look at that famous late 90s study from Princeton University involving the Global Consciousness Project.
Oh, that's a classic. The researchers at Princeton were utilizing random event generators, or REs.
What exactly is an RG?
They're basically computers tossing millions of digital coins per second, creating a baseline of absolute, pure randomness. The hypothesis was that human consciousness could alter that randomness.
The specific event highlighted in the text took place in Washington, D.C., right?
Yes, a large group of practitioners gathered to actively meditate there.
Intending to lower the violent crime rate through coherent group focus. They weren't lobbying politicians, they weren't patrolling the streets, they were just maintaining a specific frequency. And the result?
It's still debated by some, but the data showed the violent crime rate in the city dropped by 23% during that specific time frame.
A 23% drop in a major metropolitan area defies all statistical probability.
It's a massive anomaly, and simultaneously, the random event generators in the area deviated significantly from their baseline randomness, showing a highly ordered pattern.
Meaning the field itself became ordered.
The researchers concluded that a critical mass of people maintaining a high, coherent frequency of peace fundamentally altered the local electromagnetic field.
Making violent actions vibrationally difficult to initiate for the wider population.
Exactly. The urge to commit violence was essentially dampened by a stronger frequency of peace.
The sources also note this isn't a new phenomenon. Back in the early 1900s in New York, there were groups heavily inspired by Tesla's emerging theories.
Oh, right, the harmony groups.
Yeah. They would gather specifically to collectively repeat phrases like, "The city vibrates in harmony." And newspapers of the era apparently reported sudden, unexplained drops in violence and totally random spikes in charitable acts across the city on the days following these sessions.
The modern scientific terminology for this has evolved, obviously. Researchers like Dr. Dean Radin at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, or the biologist Rupert Sheldrake with his theory of morphic resonance.
I've heard of morphic resonance.
Yeah, they study how biological and energetic systems share information instantaneously across distances. What Tesla referred to as tuning the conscious ether, modern quantum physicists might discuss in terms of quantum entanglement and the unified field.
The vocabulary shifts, but the underlying mechanism remains.
Consciousness shapes reality, and unified collective consciousness shapes collective reality.
If a small, dedicated group in New York a century ago could theoretically lower crime just by harmonizing their voices, the implications for today are staggering.
Especially with our interconnectedness.
Right. Imagine the potential for the viral expansion of this field with the internet. Tesla reportedly predicted that when humanity finally understands the mechanics of unified vibrations, the concept of war will become obsolete.
The reasoning is purely vibrational. War, violence, and exploitation are the ultimate expressions of a chaotic, discordant, low-frequency field.
So if you raise the baseline.
If the collective baseline frequency of the planet is raised to a state of coherence through individuals actively managing their own electromagnetic output, the actions required for war simply become vibrationally impossible to sustain.
The chaotic wave is naturally canceled out by a stronger harmonic wave.
Just like noise-canceling headphones.
That is incredible, and it brings this entire deep dive into sharp focus. We aren't just exploring cool historical anecdotes about a brilliant inventor.
No, not at all.
The sources we are studying are a direct invitation for the listener to become an active node in this collective field.
The core critique Tesla leveled at his contemporaries still applies today. Knowledge is entirely useless without application.
You have to do the work.
It is one thing to intellectually understand that you are a biological transmitter. It is an entirely different existence to move from being a reactive human, someone who just waits for external circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel good,
Right.
to a creative human who deliberately regulates their internal vibration first and then watches the external circumstances reorganize.
So what does this actually mean for you, the listener? It requires a radical shift in perspective. It means you don't need to become a better or more worthy person to experience the life you want.
The universe doesn't care about worthiness.
Exactly. It doesn't deal in worthiness. It deals in frequencies. You don't need to earn your reality through suffering. You simply need to remember your function. You are a conscious creator.
A localized node of the universe experiencing itself.
Yes. The universe isn't testing you, and it isn't punishing you. It is merely echoing you.
If we accept the premise that the universe is a flawless mirror of your vibrational state, the only rational question to ask yourself right now is, what is it reflecting at this exact moment?
Such a good question.
If you feel tension in your jaw, anxiety in your chest, or a pervasive sense of lack, your physical body is acting as a voltmeter. It is warning you that your current is chaotic and unstable.
And this is where the theory becomes practice. Don't just listen to this deep dive, nod along, and then cue up the next video while your mind wanders back to your anxieties.
Please don't.
The unified field starts exactly where you are sitting right now. We are issuing you a direct challenge based on the sources. Apply the 7-day ritual tonight.
Start tonight.
Choose your present tense phrase. Isolate yourself in a dark, quiet room. Drive the phrase into your subconscious 100 times with overwhelming physical emotion.
And then, crucially, sit in silence and surrender the how and the when to the ether. Let it go.
As you embark on this protocol, keep in mind that the electromagnetic field generated by your heart does not stop at the boundary of your skin.
It ripples outward, constantly interacting with the fields of everyone you encounter.
Energy accelerates when it is shared. That is the fundamental nature of resonance. And this is how we can actively hack the digital algorithm to mirror the algorithm of the universe.
That viral component is so important.
The sources made it clear that these concepts were designed to spread virally, and you can participate in that right now. Hit the like button on this video, not just as a metric, but as an explicit, intentional act to expand this vibration across the digital network.
Absolutely.
Subscribe to continue tuning your frequency with us. But most importantly, utilize the community space. Go to the comments right now. Even if you choose to do it entirely anonymously, leave a physical, energetic footprint.
Share the specific phrase you have chosen for your 7 days.
Yes. Share the resistance you feel or the sudden clarity you experience. And return to share the synchronicities that start arranging themselves in your life.
Because your specific documentation of this process, your specific frequency of breakthrough, could be the exact resonant wave that shatters someone else's doubt and wakes up their heart.
By participating openly, we are utilizing modern infrastructure to replicate what those groups in New York did a century ago. We are actively tuning the collective field.
We are proving in real time that the reality we face is not a solid, unchangeable concrete wall.
It is a highly sensitive, highly responsive echo. It is quite literally waiting for you to sing a new song so it can harmonize with you.
The methodology is clear. Think with your heart, feel with your mind, and watch the physical world bend to your frequency.
So as you step away from this deep dive and carry this awareness out into the noise of your day, I want to leave you with one final lingering thought to explore.
Let's hear it.
If your entire reality, the good, the bad, the frustrating, and the beautiful, is merely a mirror reflecting your inner frequency, what would happen if, just for one day, you decided to fall completely and madly in love with the reflection exactly as it is?